Hey Trekkies, it's summer, and you know what that means. It's time for Creation Entertainment's Trek to Las Vegas 2025. This year, the convention has been expanded to a 5-day schedule, August 6th through the 10th at the Rio Las Vegas Hotel. Meet all your favorite Star Trek pros in one place, and hey, maybe you swing by Vic's Lounge and you see our panel. It's a great way to meet people in person and have some fun with your fellow Trekkies. If you can't make it to Star Trek Las Vegas, of course, there's also other events around the country this year. Trek to Orlando, August 23rd through 24th. There's the Trek to New Jersey, September 6th and 7th. And finally, the Trek to Chicago, November 22nd and 23rd. We're looking forward to meeting as many of you as we can this year. So make sure that you get ready to trek to Las Vegas.
Hi, this is Veronica Osorio, and you're listening to Open Pike Night, the podcast that looks like getting your shit together.
Is this thing on? Hello, hello. Welcome to Open Pike Night. I'm John T. Bolds, your host, and this is the Strange New Worlds podcast where your personal logs are the prime directive. I'm here tonight with some amazing guests on stage and in the studio to discuss Episode 1 of Strange New Worlds Season 2, The Broken Circle. Join us tonight as we discuss which Open Pike Night host will steal the Enterprise and why, how effective music therapy is compared to something more human, and our favorite drug-fueled fights from our own lives. Joining me today are my co-hosts, the man whose heart rate increases anytime Star Trek walks into the room, to report for duty, of course, host of Sudden But Inevitable, Jesse.
Star Trek is back! I'm so happy!
And the man who's ready for a drinking contest to get information at the drop of a hat, host of Green Shirt, a newbie's trek through TNG, Cameron.
Damn straight. But do you have anything besides blood wine? Maybe an Appletini. I could probably win an Appletini match.
And tonight we have a special guest, host of Treks in the City podcast, comedian, actress, writer, director, podcaster, and all-around badass, Veronica Osorio.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
We have had a great conversation before we started the show, and man, callers, you're in for a treat.
And there are a lot of you this week, callers. Yeah. Wow.
People are watching the show.
Yeah, people are watching the show and people are listening to us. And we just love the support we're getting from our callers. We have some new, we have some returning, and we have some great calls tonight. Veronica, tell us about your history with Star Trek.
All right, guys. So for those of you who don't know anything about me, I am from Venezuela. And I actually didn't grow up watching Star Trek or anything, but I am a sci-fi lover. And so at some point in 2012, it was all available on Netflix. And a couple of my friends were like, we think you would enjoy this. And my boyfriend at the time was like, I think you would really like this. And we started watching TNG from Encounter at Farpoint all the way to All Good Things. And I was just like, whoa, my brain just, it was over. Like from then on, I could only see things in terms of like TNG episodes. And then, of course, we started watching DS9. And so I didn't grow up with it with like a lot of my friends or the people that we've had, whatever. Point is like my co-host, Alice, I have a Star Trek podcast called Treks in the City. We finish all of TNG from the beginning to the end. I honestly, it's like my entire vibe is like TMI. And today I was driving around like, oh my God, I wonder what's in those archives. Like every time I tell someone like, yeah, you should listen to it like and watch TNG alongside with us. I'm like,
but not you, Mom.
Not anyone near me right now, like at this point in my life. I converted to Judaism, like all of that. Like I had so many lovers and breakups and things, and it's all public. But it's all public within the Star Trek fandom, which I believe to be the kindest, most beautiful fandom in the world. So I honestly feel like it's the only safe space, and it's so niche and specific that yes, there's millions of us, but no one would like shame me. So I feel safe. I don't think I would do this in like a more public, general topics podcast.
Okay.
So that's me. And then my co-host Alice Wetterland, who's an amazing stand-up comedian, actually, and maybe more appropriate for this theme of the podcast. We had the same manager, and we both Star Trek, girlies, and then we're just like complaining about the fandom not having enough female perspectives. Because like, honestly, what I care about is like Haven 2, what are the outfits? Like, what's Riker gonna wear? what earrings are like in Bajor? Like, that's what I care about.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, we want to do a podcast. Like, our manager was like, you should talk to each other. And immediately, as soon as we talked, we're like, let's talk Star Trek and fashion. So we named our podcast Treks in the City, of course.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I know, is perfect name, we think. And then in our Patreon, we started watching the, TOS. And then now we're on DS9. We're in season 1 of DS9. We took a little like breather. We didn't want to do like any ads anymore. So now we're only on Patreon.
Okay.
So we're in the Treks in the City, the Patreon / Treks in the City. And then Alice and I each have our own Patreon. So you can listen to our podcast and Treks in the City in each of our patrons individually if you want, if you guys feel inclined to. But it's just the two of us. It's like a 2-woman operation. We're both extremely busy and have so many other things to do. And so we go at our pace, and that's part of the charm of it. And at this point, I started watching Picard, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Let me just get through it. So I'm trying. I know I need to get to season 3. And so, okay, if you need to know, officially, I believe I'm Riker. That is my vibe.
Okay.
I will fuck anything and everything that moves. I am a pansexual. I don't care if you're asexual, agender. I'm fine with that. And if a second other me were to come on my ship, I would be like, fuck this fucker. Like, Riker was not okay with having a second
Shelby,
Riker at all.
Yep.
So I feel like I'm fully Riker. And when in Rome applies to me. I'll be going downstairs to the planets. I call the planets downstairs and the ship upstairs.
I like that.
So I'll be going downstairs.
Yeah.
We got some downstairs and upstairs in this episode. No, you've watched all of Strange New Worlds, right? You're a big Strange New Worlds fan?
Shit, no, here's where it gets bad. This is like Treks in the City. Kind of, we wanted to open the space for like a casual fan. Because, like, the fan that's like, well, actually, in episode 1, I'm like, fuck you. I'm just trying to talk about earrings. Like, I'm just trying to talk about, like, who's hot. Like, I don't care. So, we are casual fans in terms of, like, we forget shit. We don't know shit, Like, I'll be selective memory about stuff. And I haven't watched Strange New World season 1, which Alice has. And she's like, please get on it. Please get on it. And I'm like, yes. But I'm also an immigrant who has, like, 30,000 things to do. So, like, today, I watched the first episode of season 2 of Strange New Worlds. And just knowing that I'm in like Open Pike Night, I'm like, bitch, like, pay attention. Like, I had my tabs open. I was reading on the backgrounds of each character. And I think this is the most attention I've paid watching any Star Trek ever.
That is truly an honor.
Feel honored.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
This is fantastic because last episode we were just asking ourselves, would this episode work for someone who's never watched season 1? So we got a proof point right here.
Yeah.
Yes. I was able to figure. Well, the recap was really good. And I was like, okay, number one. Okay, I don't know what this species means, but she lied in her application. So, like, okay, here we are. And then, Rebecca Rom, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's fabulous.
Totally.
And then I was just, like, trying to, like, figure out, like, oh, okay, you're a Hura. Oh, amazing. So, like, that part I could figure out quickly. And can I tell you my one disappointment about all of this? It's that what is the guest star? I'll tell you right now, Pelia, Commander Pelia. I'm like, don't tell me this is not a serious regular. Because
do you want us to update you on why she is a guest star?
Yeah.
Or do you want to wait till you watch season 1?
Oh. I am now. My curiosity has peaked. I'm a cat. I'm like,
It'll probably come up. It'll come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But there is a specific reason why guest star status exists for her. Yeah.
Okay. There's a specific quality to like a woman who knows what she's like. Someone who can say technobabble as if they were drunk. I'm like, that is a special category of acting.
Yes. This is true. This is true.
I hope that was the casting call for the Carol Kane answer. That's a great casting call line.
Only her and Jennifer Coolidge actually could pull this off.
Oh, man. We got to get her on this show now.
She's got to be an engineer at some point.
Yes.
But could she play, like, would you want her to do the Jennifer Coolidge in universe also? Or would you want her to, like...
I wanted Jennifer Coolidge Orion.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Green skin Jennifer Coolidge.
Okay,
I can fucking get behind that.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
That's a good call.
I think me and Veronica are going to co-write a Star Trek script before the end of this.
I think that's a great idea.
What Star Trek characters do you each identify yourself with? State your character.
That's fair.
So I can figure you out.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we've kind of had this question before. I know I picked O'Brien.
You're O'Brien?
Definitely.
So you're really cranky about Bashir.
I absolutely understand. Yes. It's like, yeah, I can empathize with that.
Having only watched 3 episodes of DS9, am I allowed to say Bashir?
Oh, shit!
First 3 episode Bashir, anyway. I don't know.
You might regret this choice. But
that's fair. My life is full of regrets. So
are you only hitting on people all of the time like you're a golden retriever?
Not really, but when I do, I'm about as successful as him. So.
Okay, accepted answer. The answer has been accepted.
I could see that, yeah. The first time I watched TNG, I felt a lot like Wesley. I wasn't that age, but I was like, I remember...
Jesse sees himself as the chosen one.
I remember being in rooms and feeling precocious and having adults kind of talk down to me, but I don't know if that's like my overall Star Trek persona. I like to communicate, so I identify strongly with Uhura, but I also I'm absolutely in love with Erica Ortegas from Strange New Worlds, but that's not really the same as identifying with that character. I guess I'd have to stick with Wesley.
I'm here for this. We all went kind of TNG, except for you with Bashir.
Yeah.
I think TNG it's the standard, honestly.
Agree.
I mean, maybe Geordi. If I had to go TNG, I'd say Geordi.
Geordi's, that is dope.
You do have some weird proclivities when it comes to computers.
Weird
that's
proclivities.
Fair.
Yep. Just super eager and excited to be on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Also in Treks, we always say like, you know how like they set up Geordi in the Encounter of Farpoint. They're like, oh yeah, this like visor gives you a headache and there's no way to solve this. So like through the entire show, we're like, remember Geordi is in excruciating pain as we speak. Never forget, Geordi has a mild headache at all times.
There's just no winning for poor Geordi.
He's a man with a headache. That's it. You know.
Let's jump to a listener call in. And
yeah. We have several calls tonight, and Mariah returning to the Open Pike Night Stage. Let's hear what she's got.
Hi, Open Pike Night. It's Mariah. This is my 3rd attempt at recording this because the first attempt was mostly incoherent screaming about how excited I am. The second attempt, I went on a long rant about how Babs is an amazing actor, and I feel like I saw so much backstory in just his face. And I stand by that, but it didn't need a whole minute and 30 seconds to say that. Okay. But I do want to spend some time talking about the incredible on-screen chemistry between Chapel and Mbenga this whole time. It just came to life. I feel like I could picture the emotional backstory. I could picture what they've been through together, even though we don't have a lot of the details. And I am so riveted to this relationship in a way that I didn't even know I cared about until this moment, and I really care about it now. I can't let everybody go without talking about La'an drinking a Klingon under the table. Chef's kiss. That was excellent. I'm not sure about the cinematography. The handheld camera, the spinning, the inside the transporter beam, it felt like there were too many ideas of like, ooh, we can do fun things. And I'm a little bit worried that it's all going to feel a little bit like a jumble, because this felt a little bit like a jumble. Other than that, oh, I'm so excited.
All right, Mariah bringing a handful of topics to the Open Pike Night Stage. I'm just going to say it, we have a lot of people who talk about Mbenga and Chapel tonight, so we're going to let some of those calls build up, but I figured it's a good time to talk a little bit about meeting back up with La'an on the planet after she left the ship last season. So what'd you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, this episode definitely, it's ambitious. It's doing a lot. That's going to be a theme in my comments from here on out, is the ambition. But yeah, I definitely felt like, all right, this is a loose end from last season. We got to tie up. And I don't know, they tie it up.
I had kind of wondered personally, like, are they going to put La'an in fewer episodes? Like, is she not going to come back till episode 3? Are they going to save her for a Deus Ex Machina moment or something? So I, to your point, Cam, they wrapped it up, and I am so glad that they did, because we talk a lot about loving the character serialization despite the episodic structure, and I really feel like they nailed that with this episode in particular. Like, everything that they told me would matter in the recap mattered in the episode, and then they tied up a bunch of threads and set up a bunch of new ones. And I honestly think that, to the point of Veronica having this be her first episode, I think this is a great first episode for somebody to watch of Strange New Worlds, because I do think it is a ton of fun.
Yeah. So Veronica, what did you think with them going down to meet La'an on the planet? Like, how did you get enough from her part of the storyline to understand what was up?
Honestly, not that much. But when I researched her, I'm like, okay, relative of the con. So I'm like, okay, this is where we at. This character is important. And so I was immediately paying a hell of a lot more attention. Also, she drank that whole bunch of, shit without like throwing up, and I was like, okay. This is cool. This is my girl. So that's where I'm at personally. But I was like, well, if Spock, who's going clearly through what I would call a dark night of the soul, because like he's just going through this like tunnel of like reconciling the fact that he's has a rush of emotions, which immediately makes me crazy to watch the entire season immediately ASAP. So if within this like flurry, he's like, oh, please don't, Captain, please don't leave me. I was like, please don't do this. This is not the time. I'm clearly fucking hard for this other nurse. Like, this, something is up. Sorry.
You're good.
Right.
No, you're good.
It's not PC,
we mark
right?
as explicit.
Yeah,
yes.
no. Okay,
We're a
okay.
stand-up comedy theme podcast.
Sorry. I just need to like. So if he's like, let's steal this shit. Let's go. Like, just the fact that everyone's gathered around being like, it could be her. She could need us. It's enough for me to be like, okay, this is a series regular. It's like an important character. Clearly, she's in the recap. So yeah, it seemed like an important character, and I feel that they're just setting it up for during the rest of the season for it to be like a story that develops. So I didn't feel like it was lacking. Okay. I just felt like they focused on what they needed to focus on, and it was ambition. It feels like they're tying knots from the previous season and setting up this next season. It's a lot to always like season 2, episode 1, right? It's a little like, okay, there's a lot that like they has to be checked in order to like set everyone up for the rest of the season. And I feel like they did it nicely. I was enjoying the shit out of it, honestly. I don't know.
It makes you want to know more. That's good. That's a good place to leave you. Yeah.
I do like that, like you said, she is the descendant of an augment. So I wonder, it probably gives her an advantage in handling her alcohol around Klingons.
Maybe.
It might be a little bit of an edge there. Probably nothing too crazy. But yeah, like you mentioned, Spock and his emotional state, his immediate first reaction. This is, a guy that we know to be supposedly super logical. First thing, steal the ship. We're like not even a convincing him to steal the ship.
Because he just had an encounter with Captain Pike where Captain Pike said, I have faith in you.
Yeah.
And then he asked himself, you can see on Ethan Peck's face, him asking himself, what would Captain Pike do in this moment? He would probably just break the rules and deal with it later. So it's like, for me, there was a direct emotional line from him being like, I can't do this, to Pike going, yes, you can, to him going, then this is what I should do, because he has faith in me and my body is telling me to do this thing. So that must be the right thing to do. I loved that whole interaction.
The whole group scene or the Pike and Spock scene?
Well, both, but the group scene especially. But in the group scene, I loved it because you could see Ortega's, like, you could see on her face when they said, so you're going to disobey the Admiral? She made a face like, I do that all the time. Like, we should totally disobey the Admiral. Like,
for like, I feel like for context, that group scene where all they're sitting together, Veronica, we haven't seen a scene like quite like that before, where it's just, all right, we're all going to hang out and chat, not hang out for a war council or a, a plan or something, or
It actually reminded me of one of the scenes from the comic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're deciding to disobey the Admiral.
Oh,
I don't know. That was my first bump, was like, we went from Spock questioning his ability to command the Enterprise to stealing the Enterprise in the cold open. I know we got a lot of stuff to do. I know we got those star checks to box check off. I tried. I swung and missed.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't buy it. Yeah. I wanted more motivation. Maybe if Chapel were the one missing, I would have bought it.
Yeah.
But
He's proving that he is not capable of commanding the Enterprise. As you know, you do badly at a job one time, you never have to do it again. So
Yep.
There you go.
Speaking of dealing with his stress, we do have a good, really in-depth call about managing Spock stress. Here we go.
Okay, hello, hi, this is Patrick, Dan, and Jesse from the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
My name is Dan.
My name's Jesse. Look at me.
All right, quit fooling. All right, tonight, Dan has a question for the whole Open Pike Night crew regarding the very first episode of season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Would you consider the instrument that Spock was given by Dr. Mbenga to be a Vulcan lute or a Vulcan lyre? Lute or lyre, what say you?
It's a Vulcan liar.
Well, that's where we're asking them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
You said it was a lute at first.
No, I didn't.
Well, you'll have to listen to find out.
I suppose it's
it's
on record.
It's tacky to advertise for your own podcast.
No, it's
I thought you were saying they would have to listen to the Open Pike Night to find out.
Oh, yes, they will have to listen to Open Pike Night to find out.
But now we know that you were secretly trying to advertise.
No, that's
our
what Jesse
podcast.
was saying. Or no, that's what I was saying. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Well, the long and the short of it, this is a debate that
Listen to the Open Pike
This
Night.
is a debate among us, among a we three here, that has remains unresolved as to whether or not it was a Vulcan lute or a Vulcan lyre. We think it's called a Vulcan lyre, but it looks more like a lute. But even that's complicated because websites have let us
I
down.
think it looks like a
We're trying to look this up. But anyway, that's our question. Do you have any opinions?
I thought Jesse said lute earlier.
Lute or lyre? Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
I think you're full of shit.
sounds like a party game. Loot or liar?
I was gonna say, like, it's a new segment, loot or liar.
Yes.
It's perhaps unsurprisingly, I'm going to agree with Jesse. I think it is a liar. I think it's specifically because doesn't a lute have a bulbous, like, round bottom part? Isn't that what Worf smashed because he was not a merry man?
That was what Worf smashed. I'm pretty sure that was a lute.
They say a lute.
They say a lute. I've always called it a Vulcan lute, but
Memory
I said
Alpha.
that
Yeah.
knowing that, I might be being horribly culturally insensitive by calling it a lute. I don't know.
Because it's a liar. I'm pretty sure.
I am not a merry man.
I mean,
Worf, is that you?
far be it from me to question the validity of a Memory Alpha entry, but I really do. I think it's a liar, and I gotta say, it's not tacky to advertise your own podcast in your call to Open Pike Night. That's part of the joy
That's
of
literally
calling
what
into
you're
Open
supposed to
Pike
do,
Night.
yeah.
That way we share the audience. We all
That's how we
are
lure you
Trekkies,
in.
and we
Yes.
love Trekkies.
Yes.
So yeah, and
Treks in the City. Listen to Treks in the City, not the other one.
Bingo. Got it.
see, it's not tacky.
It's normal.
I'm gonna just go to throw a wrench and say it's a Vulcan lap harp, because
Ooh.
lap harp sounds funny. I
does.
do.
I have a bulbous lap harp.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Oh, I thought it was a ukulele.
You're
I
not
thought it was a
sorry at all.
vulkulele.
Yeah.
Ooh, ukulele.
That's a good one.
This is why I'm not in the writer's room in this show.
Me too. Yeah.
I was just missing the shot where Spock all of a sudden vanished because he was sitting in the chair that Mbenga had somebody else sitting in who would, periodically transport away on a timer.
Like forgot to turn off the transport buffer from season 1.
I'm just surprised how he has time. Listen, if I'm having one of those days where all my emotions are surfacing, I'd be having zero time to have a meeting, seal the ship, go drink, play the vulkulele, and I'm just how did he manage? If I have too many feelings, I need to just sit in stasis on my couch,
Maybe it's possible that he was on the same battle meth that Mbenga and Chapel were on later.
True.
Listen, that battle meth looked like ADD gold. I was could I?
Yeah. For
Could
real.
I?
The focus goes way up.
If my eyes could go,
It's just called Adderall 3 or something at that point. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I will write 100 funny jokes.
I do. I love the liar say. I love the introduction of Vulkulele.
Vulkulele, yep.
Also, how many times do you get a chance as a writer to have a diegetic, basically record scratch in your scene?
Yeah.
There's a little film nerd humor for you, but I thought that was whole great with the levels. It was a great visualization for Spock's.
I do agree with
mental
you,
state, yeah.
Cameron. Do you mind? Can I call you Cam? Because I'm well, in what moment was he going from scared little bird, no, please don't leave me alone, too many feelings from my own little teenage heart, and then suddenly he's yeah, let's fucking steal the shit.
It's when his dad
We're
said,
stealing the shit.
It's when his dad said, I trust you with this house, and it better still be standing when I get back.
And then he saw the keys on.
He idolizes Captain
It's when
Pike.
Daddy then he gave the keys to Spock, and he's no, I can't take them. And the second
No
he felt
parties. Yeah.
That's right.
them, facts. This is what happened. Okay, I get it. You know what? I can get behind that part. Funny enough, I didn't know that this season. I didn't know that this group scene was unusual for this specific show. But I felt it. When I saw it, I was what is this location? Spock standing there, and it's the whole cast and all the series regulars basically, except for, we know there's someone off planet, there's someone downstairs somewhere. And then there's Pike just bounced to go, take care of first officer. So we know 3 cast members are not there, but otherwise it feels that's the first time I saw everyone on the show. So it felt special. I knew there was something a standout about that scene. I just couldn't put my finger on it.
It feels really TNG. It feels like a conference room scene where they would all be in one room talking to each other. Usually Strange New Worlds is Pike and someone across his desk. So it's this was I loved this scene. And I guess one more parallel with Spock's music, it's interesting that he chose music as therapy so readily at Mbenga's suggestion, of course, but we know that he saw Captain Angel use music as therapy in the first season. So that's something that he was able to carry along.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jesse, because there is a tiny moment in the scene when he's in his quarters playing the music and Uhura, knocks on the door and comes in. She says, "Did I hear music?" Now, remember, when he went to Captain Angel's quarters, it was she was rocking music and you could kind of hear it through the door. I think that was them trying to be this is Uhura. She can hear everything. And so she's hearing gentle strings being plucked through the door.
That's a good point. I wouldn't have even picked up on that.
So this episode, I'm curious, how did you feel about it? Did you feel that this was exciting to you, knowing what happened in season? I'm only bummed that if season 1 had any setup that a character may die or never come back, those are spoiler alert. It's already been spoiled, but I also kind of don't believe those that much. And I mean, well, Tasha Yar taught us a rough lesson.
Yeah.
And
It might
all
just
that
happen.
all that I will say to you and anyone listening is
Okay.
that is an excellent parallel to draw.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Mhm.
No.
But
No,
I
I'm
think
scared.
that question is a good segue, I think, to our next caller,
Yeah.
right?
Armis.
How did we feel? How did we feel?
Let's hear from Tessa, and then we'll talk about how we felt about the episode.
You know what? When I first got into Star Trek, my dad told me that when he was growing up, he would stay up way past his bedtime to watch TNG. And at the time, I was like, that is the most nerdy shit. What the fuck? But it is almost 2 a.m. and I am recording my call in.
Yes.
So I guess that type of nerd shit runs in the family. That was a weird first episode. It was very Trek. It felt a lot like the alternate original series movies. It felt a lot like Discovery. It did not feel a lot like Strange New Worlds. I really enjoyed the first half of the episode. I thought it was really fun to see the crew be a crew and a family together. I think it was a weird choice for episode 1 of season 2 with a lot of weird design choices with lighting and flashing and camera movement. And for a show that's been so upbeat and about hope, it was weird to have the, like, basically second introduction of these characters be war and be so dark. I really hope that episode 2 is better because I didn't hate this episode, but I would not say it's as good as any of the episodes in season 1 for me. Love you guys. Bye.
All right, Tessa, thank you. And
I think it's very appropriate that you brought up the original movies because this episode to me felt very cinematic. It felt like it was trying to be a movie, and that's partly because it's homaging a lot of the biggest movies. We've got Stealing the Enterprise from Search for Spock. We've got Sabotaging Klingon Peace from Undiscovered Country. We've got Raiders of the Lost Ark. We've got some Return of the Jedi in there, like to the point that they're like directly referencing these huge movies, and just the plot feels big. Those moments feel like they belong in a big theatrical setting, but it's all being compressed into basically a TV show running time and budget. And so a lot of that didn't work for me. Again, I think this was a very ambitious episode. I think there's a lot to like in it, and they did check a lot of boxes, but I think they did bite off a little too much with it for me.
So may I ask, what is the standard aesthetic? Because I'm trying to look for it here, but might as well just like describe it to me. Because it seems like they put a little like they were like, oh, season, beginning. Let's just inject a little more budget into like the lens flares or whatever.
Sure, yeah, there's some of that for sure.
Yep. I mean, the aesthetic is very, we're trying to look kind of Neo 60s-ish, like Neo original series, and it works very well. And it's a brighter show than Discovery. It's a brighter show than Picard. It's a brighter show than DS9. So the amount of it's not like they won't tackle heavy subjects, but this is a really heavy episode.
I see.
Or it
Okay.
gets
Okay.
heavy.
Usually their heavy subject tackling takes place like in broad daylight in a gorgeous city on some kind of planet or something.
On a floating paradise city.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, oh, gritty is new for this.
They were dealing with PTS, and I was like, "Fuck, is this like Discovery?" That was so the moment where Chapel, I believe, the nurse, is like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like, and he's like, "I'm not gonna say this is not giving me flashbacks to this past shit." I'm like, oh, is this as heavy as Discovery? Because Discovery is dark, and there's a point where like vibrationally I cannot take it. Just like I'll rather watch Worf be mad at being a merry man any day. Like I like the silliness. Sometimes I just prefer it, or like a straight like diplomacy episode. I'll be like blah blah blah, yeah, but I'll watch it happily. Versus like heavy PTS, heavy war, heavy like anything that's like too intensely like dark. Sometimes I just don't have the space for that,
Sure.
And so I was wondering at that point, is this show a little dark?
I would say this is comparable to The Darkness from the first season.
yeah, Lon's had some.
Yeah, Lon's had some stuff. And then episode 6 in the first season, there's no other way to say it. It's a dark episode. And it's also visually bright. Like, it's still very easy to look at.
But within an episode, like with this one, it never gets as pervasively dark as Discovery does.
Right.
Yes,
sometimes.
absolutely.
Like,
You have post-traumatic stress syndrome, but you've also got Spock drinking a Klingon under the table.
Right.
Maybe not.
Well, and
you get the light and the dark.
Well, and for me, this was definitely kind of just answering more promises from the first season, because we were told in the first season, hey, this character has a very traumatic history. And it's like, cool, but maybe show that to us instead of just telling it to us. And they do that here. And I really personally love this additional layer for Mbenga, because I was going into this season going, I feel like they're going to need him to be thinking about some stuff from season 1 a lot. I don't want to spoil it for you, Veronica. But he's going to be like so focused on all this season 1 stuff, right? And they're like, no, he's a multi-layered individual and he's got a lot of stuff on his plate, just like all of these people have a lot of stuff on their plate.
Yeah.
And I agree with Tessa that it did feel a lot like the older Star Treks, and that's definitely something I liked about it. Having some Cold War tension is very Star Trek.
Yeah, right.
And for me, the only part that I don't really understand of Tessa's comment is that it didn't feel like Strange New Worlds, because Strange New Worlds to me has always felt like just pieces of other Star Treks with a great package, right? Like it's all about doing things we've already done in Star Trek. Now, if you're not into those storylines, that makes total sense. Like, but for me, I felt like it was Strange New Worlds because it was such an homage to so many different kinds of Trek.
I just say real quick, it's probably fair to say this doesn't feel Strange New Worlds simply because Pike's only in 2 minutes of it.
Sure. And Pike
that's a fair
definitely-
comment with that perspective.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, like the first 16 minutes definitely feel Strange New Worlds and are absolutely my favorite part of the episode. And, the episode it does this shape and it comes back at the end too. And I really enjoy it. It's like, they tried some stuff in the middle and it's not something we've seen before, but.
And I think it speaks to that ambition that was mentioned earlier, because they were like, we can get away with not having Pike in this episode. And I think they do.
Right. How about, I would like this ship to go now?
Well, you are like setting up the next calls perfectly.
Are you reading the outline? I
think I'm just instinctive.
Absolutely. Well, let's hear from
Almost
our
like
next.
you've been on over 100 episodes of Star Trek.
I might be Troy, honestly.
Well, let's hear from our next caller and talk about Go Lines.
Open Pike Night. This is Commander Zoe Richardson, acting captain of the USS Cinema, host of Backlook Cinema, the podcast. I just wanted to report that I've just watched the first episode of the new season of Strange New Worlds. I love the deepening of the relationship between the character, especially between Mbenga and Nurse Chapel. I also enjoy the more emotional Mr. Spock and the introduction of what I presume will be the new chief engineer. I am eager to see how that unfolds. And also that beautiful tribute to Nichelle Nichols at the end of the episode. So yeah, this was a good thing, I think. And I wasn't asked, but yes, we do have a go phrase, as it were, on the cinema. And around here, when we're about to go to warp, I say, let's bounce. Yeah, I know how it sounds. We're still workshopping it, but that's what I'm going with right now. Zoe Richardson, out.
Zoe, you are a true fan. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah. I like Let's Bounce.
Yeah.
I would watch that show. I think that should be the title of that Star Trek series.
Honestly, Let's Bounce is like, that's my shit. Like, I'd be like, warp speed 5. Bounce.
All right. Well, that one's taken, Veronica. What would your go phrase be then?
I think I was with Ortega when they were like, vámonos. I was like, Obby, like, let's fucking vámonos. Like, but it's also, vámonos sounds like that's what Dora the Explorer says. Vámonos, amigos. So I'd be like, okay, let me think about this.
All right,
The swipers are closing in.
then my
Again,
go
that's
phrase
better.
would be, can you say go to warp? And then just silently stare at the screen. That would
Can you?
the most passive aggressive captain.
Okay, there's only so many things you can say to like get something to just move, right? To go.
Yeah.
We know we have engage. So, you know, I don't know.
I mean,
That's better than Cam's impression of Picard.
Okay, I got mine. I got mine.
All right.
I'd be like, dale, you know, like dale.
Ooh, I like
That's
that.
very like also like I feel like if I go dale at the same time, I think I would have a DJ on the bridge.
This is the future. I mean, come on. It's your ship.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You'll have it.
This is your Captain Cereza. Captain Cherry sitting on the chair. Yo, I got a cool ass planet. We're gonna steal the ship. We're gonna head to this like amazing planet. Think Ryza, but Latino. Okay, everyone, warp speed 5, dale. Hey, hey.
just strobing lights on the bridge. I like it.
I honestly, let's craft a show like this.
They probably like the saucer starts to shake apart if the base gets too hard and gotta straighten
No,
the saucer.
saucer separation is actually built in. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Well-known
there's like like those Uber neon lights all around the Enterprise outside. I'd be having like a fog machine in the bridge. This would be my ship. Every captain is their own, you know,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
person.
yeah.
But
I
that'd be
just,
me.
Everyone would be trying to get transferred to your ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
I figured out which ship
Yeah.
I want to serve on. You guys.
Erica Ortegas herself, Melissa Navia, did post this question on Twitter, and I had to go with and action.
Oh, that's a good one.
I gotta stay on
an
brand.
action.
Yes.
Yeah.
As an actress, I'd be like, yes.
That's right. That's right.
It would work
And everyone
on
in
me.
Starfleet is just want to be actors. So yes.
I
It would work for me.
responded to the same thread, which with probably what's not cool, but what I would actually probably say, which is ready, Freddy?
As long as Queen starts playing after that, I am there.
I mean, that could work, but you know I'm deeply uncool, so.
Yeah, you picked Wesley and now Ready Freddy.
Oh,
I've made peace with it. Like, I can't be
I'm like-
embarrassed more than I already have in my life.
But you identified with two cool characters. So I'm here for this. You identify with Ortega. You know, like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Who you look up to.
She's a very good friend of the show. We owe a lot of our audience directly to Melissa Navia. She was
Yeah.
our 1st interview ever. So
The reason you're here is
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were gonna be cast in the show, knowing your body type, like it's knowing your like face, knowing what you read on camera, what do you think would be your role in what show? Any show,
Ooh,
any time.
Any Star Trek show?
Any Star Trek show. It could be TNG, DS9, DOS, Discovery, Picard.
Okay. All right.
I would be an extra.
You're
mean,
doing this to yourself.
Yeah, we have all volunteered to be corpses on screen in Strange New Worlds if we could, but
Literally
my God.
anything. Yeah.
I will say I think seeing when they were at Starbase 1 and the highly irregular dude who was giving Ortegas the nasty look, I'm like, man, that's kind of my body type, and I think that would probably, if I got a small role,
Be an
that
inspector.
felt like a very close role to what I would be offered.
Oh, yeah. When they're like, I love the scene where everyone's like checking out the Enterprise.
Yep.
They're like, no, we've got this configured to our own. And we learn, ladies and gentlemen, that Ortegas prefers inverted Y controls.
Yes.
So
yes,
I knew I liked
inverted
her.
controls.
That's right.
But yeah, like first off, I love that that guy stood up, pulled off glasses, which I'm guessing are like an augmented reality, like he was looking, they're
Right.
display glasses, but haven't seen that in Star Trek before. And I was like,
Mm.
yeah, that I would have really liked playing that little part.
I'd probably play like the creepy suspected murderer on some space station that they stopped at.
You're
I
a
feel like I get
Cardassian.
cast.
Yeah.
I get cast. Ooh. I don't know if I have the neck for it, but otherwise, yeah, probably Cardassian.
No, you
Yeah.
didn't.
You can work out. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, they got long neck. They-
Isn't that how you get a longer neck? Is by working out? I don't.
Yes. Yeah.
There's gotta be some special muscles to work out
stretch.
with this.
Yeah.
You know, they put you on the rack.
Little cheek weights that you gotta lift like this. I don't know how you achieve that,
like it.
honestly.
I would have to be in communications because I just want to be able to wear headphones. Like I wear headphones at work sometimes. Like I need to have audio input, so that's probably where I would end up. But
Go communications,
somewhere in communications, but like on the bridge is so much pressure.
Although, okay,
Sure.
like Chef on Enterprise would have been fun if they had actually given Chef a role. Like,
Ooh,
that
you're
would have
like
been fun.
you're like that guy who cuts Picard's
Yes,
No,
sort of a Mott the Barber level.
mod. Yeah, exactly.
I would
Yeah.
love going down in history with that level of role for Star Trek.
giving unwarranted
Yes.
advice to all
Yeah.
the command crew.
Honestly,
I
like
it.
3
Yeah, that's
episodes in a
John.
show and somehow everyone knows your name. It's
Yep.
a pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
Right.
I'll take it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a legacy right there.
That is a legacy. That is something. I feel like I'd be boringly cast as like a Bajoran.
Mhm.
I think I have the face for being a Bajoran or a Betazoid. That's just
Yeah.
as a photograph. Like if I see my photo, I'll be like, oh, she could be here. You know, that's where I would put myself.
Okay.
I would love to play. I think I'd just love to be like a fucking Riker, man. That's all I want to be.
It would be cool if Riker had a not a descendant, an ancestor that, really created the Riker mold, and he's like, I'm just trying to be like Grandma Riker, like I
Man, you have got to watch season 1. Like,
yeah.
I'm here.
You're going to call in
should,
and let
yeah.
us know what you think.
You have already caught me. Like it is. I'm like flying molasses. I'm in. It's over for me.
Why does
I
everybody
know.
describe being on our show like that, you guys? It's like the 9th time.
What happens? It's the effect you guys have here. I don't know what to say.
All right, who we got next, Producer John?
next up, we have Abby Summer returning to the Open Pike Night Stage.
Hey, Open Pike, it's Abby Summer from the First Flight podcast. And whew, this was an awesome start to what I can't think would be anything other than an amazing season. I know you guys are going to get plenty of calls about other stuff, so it's true to form, I have to call in and just geek out about the costumes for a minute because, the details, the levels, all of the different grommets, all the different textures, the hoods, the boots, like this was a costume nerd's dream. And I have to say it was made even better by looking at Celia Gooding's Twitter and seeing her post some fun behind-the-scenes pictures of hers in her outfit. And she's got a little pouch pocket, and she said she kept snacks in it, which is probably the coolest thing that I've ever heard and makes me love her even more. So I am so excited about this. The costuming made me so happy. This script made me happy. Everything made me happy. Bring on next week. And you guys keep doing the great job that you're doing because I give a little squeal of happiness every time I see Open Pike drop in my feed. Be well.
Oh, thank you very much, Abby. And yeah, we had costumes galore in this episode.
Oh, man. 100%. Costumes are great. I mean, you said it all, Abby. I can't add to that.
It's, yeah.
Grommets.
In
a piece of, fun Trek lore, I think that the hood that La'an is wearing is the hood that Georgiou was wearing in, I think maybe season 2 or 3 of Discovery.
Oh shit!
That's
It's
cool.
got that like giant
Hand-me-downs.
thing,
Yeah.
and it's like reusing sets, reusing costumes.
I'm here
But
for
yeah,
that.
I just and I think we mentioned this last episode, but Bernadette Croft is up for costume design Emmy this season for season 1 because of when it was released or something like that. So definitely support that campaign on Instagram.
And same for I worked in Strange Angel at CBS and at Paramount Plus. I worked with J.R. McKinnon, who's like one of the original prosthetic makers from TNG, and now on his Instagram he's like, please vote for Star Trek Picard, and he has like an amazing costume that he created. So like a costume that's just all makeup prosthetics. Oh, wow. So it looked complex.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, let's vote for my man. He cool. Like I was the only one on my cast dorking out about Star Trek, which was unusual.
This might be the first year where Star Trek with 5 different shows could like sweep the Emmys.
That would be so cool.
That would be awesome.
That'd be really dope. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
So the last time I checked, the Gorn was a fashionable golden dressed lizard, like red carpet, just dinosaur lizard thing, who's just standing there like blah blah blah. And so in Treks in the City, we did a special episode for what was it? The Inner Light.
Okay.
TNG season 5, episode 25. And so Alice, my co-host, created a song for Gorn that was like based off of Torn. So it's like nothing's fine, I'm Gorn, I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. I'm cold and I am scaled. Lizard laying on the floor. So there's more.
You might get a chance to dust that off again if you watch season 1 of Strange New Worlds.
Okay, I'm ready for that because that Gorn, I think this is the villain that we have made the most amount of fun of in all of the Star Trek universe. And to see that it return as a serious threat, I'm like, okay, Gorn, you've come a long way because last I checked, you were standing on a rock with a golden dress.
Yes. I will say, you've come a long way, baby, would be a very appropriate line to say about Gorn.
I just think it's so funny they decided to revive the one villain that we have laughed and laughed at so much.
I honestly think that's why they picked it. They were like, they're like, what's the greatest challenge? I think would be to make this species a serious threat. And I think that's why they
bravo
did it.
for Natalie Imbruglia callback. Like,
seriously.
Extremely curious about this Gorn decision. Man. That's what I'm going to do tonight. I want to watch fucking Strange New Worlds and get into this Gorn bullshit.
Yes. Yes.
Where do you expect this season to go? Like, what is it that you would want out of this season?
I am known as the fanboy here. I'll take whatever they give me. What I want is more of this, and I am happy to report that episode runtimes this season are longer than they were in season 1, and that makes me very happy.
See, and with that, like, I don't know why they didn't just make this season 2 pilot like or
a movie,
or premiere,
full length,
an hour and a half. Just make it I think with an extra 20 minutes, this episode would have like been perfect for me. It just needed a little more room to develop what they were doing in some parts.
That might be the first time I've ever heard you say you thought something needed to be longer, Cameron. So I'm going to take that as a good sign.
This is a big story.
This is a really solid Star Trek movie idea crammed into 52 minutes. And actually one of our original callers has something to say about that.
Hi, this is Peter again. Overall, I enjoyed the season premiere episode. It was a good development story for Spock, M'Benga, and Chapel. Spock in Command reminded me of one of my favorite TOS episodes, the Galileo 7, in which Spock was in command of a maroon shuttlecraft. Here, he showed his developing leadership skills, which included making the decision to not follow Starfleet's orders and instead steal the Enterprise to rescue La'an. One of my favorite parts was the introduction of Carol Kane's Commander Pelia. I haven't seen her previous TV shows or films, so I wasn't sure what to expect. After her first scene on the bridge, in which she helped Spock, I started to like her. Her character is intriguing and mysterious and reminded me a little bit of Guinan. I look forward to seeing her in future episodes. M'Benga and Chapel also had some good scenes, although I wasn't a big fan of the super serum and the subsequent fighting scenes, which in my opinion lasted too long. I also like the origin story of Spock's Vulcan lyre and the dedication to Nichelle Nichols at the end of the episode. Overall, I thought it was a good start to the season, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts about this episode. Thanks, and live long and prosper.
Thank you once again, Peter. And I mean, he brings up a lot of good points, but I think we're at the point of talking about battle meth and and how we feel about taking drugs to get in fights. because that is probably the most divisive scene of this whole episode.
I, surprise, had no problem with it. Partially because I've seen Kirk fight Klingons and thought to myself, shouldn't he not have a chance? Like at all against a Klingon? And I get it, canon is fluid, and I'm always the one to say, like, I don't really care if they stick to canon as long as they tell me a good story. So for me, it almost felt like they knew, okay, Chapel and Mbenga need to fight their way through some Klingons. How can we make that work? It has to be some kind of augment thing, right? And I personally feel that it fits with Chapel because she's like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. Like, why do you still have this on you, man? I thought you were past this. But she's an expert at genetics, right? She did the temporary genetic manipulation in season 1. Like, that's what her science is about. So I feel like it really added for me to their backstory, to Chapel and Mbenga, to have him just pull a vial out, her know what it is immediately, and she immediately deduced his plan.
What
and
if she's the one who made it?
Right.
Oh,
because she
interesting.
definitely has some like, dude, do you always have this with you? Like, that really almost felt guilty as well as guilting, right?
It's like the space doctor version of sleeping with a gun under your pillow.
Right. And I gotta say, for me, Babs sells this entire sequence. Like, it's his acting that
So
gets
amazing.
me there. Because I'm
He's
like,
got some looks.
yeah, and like the haunted, the depth, there's so much to it that I was like, I'm so ready for this.
Jess Bush also sells this.
Seriously.
Like, she plays scared. So, like, she was fine season 1. I mean, I had never had a problem with Jess Bush in season 1, but like, it's a whole nother level in this scene.
Yeah.
I'm here for her.
Hard agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only 2 actors that I immediately Googled after the show, well, I already had Googled the shit out of Ethan Peck, of course, but
Sure, like we all have.
and Anson Mount, like, when they were introduced initially in the universe, but it was Babs, and because I was like, oh my God, who is this guy with these eyes? Like, what is this intensity of being that's behind these eyes? I was just so I was taken by this person. And then of course Carol Kane as Pilia, because I was like, this is me I need this character more. Is she going to be the new engineer?
A Pelia prequel just taking place throughout the history of Earth.
The first note that I wrote down, because the first time I watched the episode, I couldn't write notes. I was just, but the first note that I wrote down was Carol Kane is playing a science witch, and I am so happy.
Yes.
She's just perfect. Like,
That's me. I'm like, science witch.
as soon as they announced her, I told my wife, who is not a Trekkie, I was like, hey, guess who's going to be in season 2? And she went, no way. So like, I really feel this is to your point from earlier, Veronica, this is another just absolute casting home run. I love Pelia.
Amazing.
Yeah. And
She's like if the Ren Fair merchant became a starship engineer.
Yes.
Okay, so happy birthday, because actually Carol Kane's birthday is June 18th.
all right.
Very
Happy
cool.
birthday,
Happy
Carol
birthday.
Kane.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
A Gemini witch, as we all are. Like, that's just how it
So to your point about Babs just being great, like, he's one of the few people who could say a line like "resurrect this theater of war" and make it sound natural and just roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
But so here's my problem with the battle meth scene is like, one, we get introduced to this very MacGuffin-y like serum all of a sudden, and he says, if we have to, we can use this. And literally 2 lines later, they are shooting up. Like, do you have to at this point? You guys have already accidentally snuck onto the super secret spaceship disguised as just civilian medics. Like, you guys are in. I would have much rather seen them bamboozle their way through the ship, like send off the SOS. And then maybe at that point, like, the Klingons are barreling in on them. They're like, oh shit, now we have to. Now it's a do or die moment. It just didn't feel necessary. It felt, I didn't really understand what was going on. And then the fight scene is not great. It felt a little under budget. Like, it kept going. I'd be like, okay, they're going to ramp it up. but it never felt like it ramped up. It was all like, it was a bunch of like slow motion high school wrestling moves. Like the big final move is like he picks up a guy from behind and throws him on the ground.
Suplexes him.
And I was like, oh, it felt like they were like really under the wire to film the scene.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Klingons? How do you feel about the I don't know if the Klingons have shown up here before, but it's the first time I see Klingons on this specific show, and I was like, okay, I'm here for this. Because, you know, Discovery, what they did. So, I know. How you feel about Discovery? Like, we've talked about this probably here on this podcast.
Well, you could probably guess which one of us loved them and didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all made a face.
I'm all for changing how aliens look. I don't care. But I personally love these Klingons and definitely got the nostalgia vibe off of it because it was like, these look like they're on TNG. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, so this is the big like reveal of Strange New Worlds Klingons. Yeah. This is the first time we've seen them on Strange New Worlds. And yeah, I love it. I think they look great. I was not a fan of Discovery Klingons, so I'm here for them. This feels like updated the old school Klingons.
Only additional Discovery Klingon point I will make for you, Cameron, is that yes, that is what becomes necessary. The Vulcan hello is the only way to deal with a ship full of Klingons that wants you dead.
I wasn't sure about the Discovery Klingons at first, but I think I really liked what they did with them more so that I was like, I don't care how they look. These Klingons are actually super compelling in Discovery by the time their story developed. I do like that they went back to kind of, I'd call this undiscovered country era Klingons, not so much fully TNG. I like it. And actually, so did our next caller.
Captain Idle from Check Time here. Very much a fan of the Klingons, you know, the renegade Klingons. We also had the honorable Klingons, and especially the captain. Oh my gosh, I want to see that captain again.
Yes.
What is his name? Who is playing him? It was nearly J.G. Hertzler, but clearly wasn't. I also quite liked Pelia. Pelia was great fun when she sort of emerged on the bridge to say, like, I know you're not stealing a ship. No, you are merely fooling me, are you not? And, you know, she comes out and she's this new race of being that have been hiding among humans for the last 200 years, and her coming out to Amanda was almost a trans allegory, which was great. You know, I think that's something that needs exploring more. Wasn't as keen on how much they're rushing Spock and Chapel. I wonder what kind of traumatic event they are going to do to sort of wrap themselves around to the TOS era where Spock is like, no, I have no interest in this woman, get away from me. And there was also, you know, he has the issue of T'Pring in the background, which, yes, has been established that maybe this is a burgeoning threesome. However, you know, it is something to watch for the future. We shall see. I'm very much looking forward to next week with the trial of Una and seeing what this amazing lawyer or person that is going to slam the door in the face of Pike, who would do that to Anson Mount? Not me. I would welcome him in and make things uncomfortable for the both of us. Anyway, I'm very excited to see where this leads. Let's fly.
Captain Idle, once again,
Lovely.
No poetry or song this time, but definitely some excellent points.
Man, just classing up the joint.
Can I tell you about the Klingons?
Yeah?
Yes, please.
I was pretty surprised to have found the old-timey look. I was like, yes. I was like, yes. But I just needed the female Klingon to have a hole right here.
Yeah.
Why we don't have... Why we go back, but no hole? The vulnerable hole.
No Duras sisters tops.
Duras sisters.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
like,
she hasn't earned it yet. Maybe it's a thing you earn in battle.
Oh. I don't need chest armor. Yeah.
That does seem very Klingon to be like, I'm actually going to wear less protective gear.
girl, what are you hiding? Like, come on. Let's see it. Let's see it.
She got a tattoo by an Andorian, and she doesn't want anyone to see it.
But like, show me the chest. That's all I care about with the Klingon females. I'm just like, because originally I was like, this misogynistic fucking costume design where like Klingon females have literally the most vulnerable, potentially deadly part of their bodies exposed. But then I'm like, but it was nice. It was nice to look at.
Maybe by the end of the Strange New Worlds Klingon stories, there will be a hand-to-hand fight with a female Klingon warrior, and her uniform will get ripped, and expose the keyhole, and it will distract her
that's
enemy, and she will slay him, and it will become like, this is
The
legend.
fashion.
This
And
is-
Bernadette
yeah.
Croft will have a cameo as a Klingon
Yes.
designer.
Yes.
And goes, I like it.
We're doing this for the whole fleet from now on.
Yep.
Now, okay, I had an actual epiphany while Captain Idol was talking, John, sort of along your lines of here's how this will go.
Hmm.
Clearly, what is going to definitely happen, and this is not based on any episodes that we have seen. You know, we've seen the first 6. This is based 100% on what Captain Idol just said. What if Captain Angel comes back and knows this time the way to get to Spock isn't to go mess with T'Pring? It's to mess with Chapel. And then Spock realizes, oh, my emotions can actually put the people that I care about at risk. Gonna shut that right down. Like, that seems like a very Spock thing to do to me. I have probably level 2 goosebump right now, which I think means it might happen.
2 out of 10. What are the goosebump
Oh,
levels
yes.
here?
Good
okay.
question.
Bring me into your goosebump scale.
It was totally off the cuff, but I was going out of 5, I think,
Okay,
because
okay,
5
okay.
would be like, you know, hair on the back of your neck, goosebumps everywhere. This was just my arm.
Ghost.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
How many goosebumps in a patch of goose flesh?
Yeah. This is
Well, you
it's a
know,
good question.
across the pond, I believe they call them goose pimples. So I want to make an attempt to speak
Is this true, Captain
the
Idol?
correct language here for this. Yes.
Okay, well, according to the outline, I believe we're supposed to be talking about Pelia now. So I do want to talk about
Yes.
Pelia because, oh my God, is she so horny to steal this ship?
Oh, yeah.
I have paid $4.99 a minute to have people talk to me in that tone of voice.
Everybody is
But, like, she-
horny this whole episode. I don't know if you
Yes,
noticed.
yeah.
Like,
Everyone is horny in Star Trek all of the time.
All
This
the
is
time.
the only
This is
reason
true.
I watch this show. This is the only reason I'm in this fandom. I only care about the level of horniness that everyone low key and high key is always showing at any time.
okay, Veronica, Strange New Worlds is the Star Trek
It's
for you.
so
Yeah.
horny. This show is wonderfully horny.
I
Yes.
am literally the only, like, this is like, how do you attract like a Latina girly girl, fangirl into a Star Trek universe?
You sit her down and you watch Strange New Worlds with her.
It's the horniness.
Well, Veronica, we are going to have a ranking the top 10 butts of Star Trek episode one
We
day,
are.
so you have to call
Yes.
in
Yeah,
for that.
once-
I
Yes.
need to. I'll be upset with y'all if you don't invite me to this.
But it was started as a joke last episode, and it's like, no, this is actually probably an episode we have to do now. Is the best butts of
Honestly?
Star Trek? So
Yep.
So can I tell you more about Klingons? Sorry, but it's just like I do.
Please.
I know I realize my neurodivergent ways, but it's this is the thing with Discovery. This is what I always thought as a person who comes from a different country, right? Where like alien races in Star Trek are often portraying. In the past, where Star Trek was like a caveman Star Trek, TOS, there kind of hints at racial groups, which is not great. Not great. We've evolved far past that, but it was what it was, you know? Because you can kind of map it and figure that out. So I was thinking like Klingons, but in reality, Klingons are the type of race or like alien race that was like, your Federation bullshit is bullshit, and we are a war race, and this is how we do our thing. Do not impose your like peace and love uniform bullshit on us. And in general, Alice and I make this point that Star Trek and the Federation tend to be very like Federation centric. So like we are correct, we are bringing the peace. We like so, and sometimes like there's native indigenous races that are like no. This is not our way, and it simply won't ever be. So in Discovery, I can kind of get behind the point where like Klingons are only speaking in Klingon and they look different and they're like distinguishably different. They're not humanoid as much. They look more like it's their own biology almost.
yeah,
To be more like, no, we shall not be like Federation washed, like whitewashed, you know, by like the Federation in our race.
Remain Klingon.
Yes, will remain Klingon. So as someone who comes from like, I am a descendant of like an indigenous group, and also from my ancestors are Black and also Spanish. So like I have all the like kind of like the colonization merger in me. I am like, yes, more of this. You know, I kind of identify with this like rebellion and making the Klingons radically different on Discovery. I was juiced up about slapping the Federation in the face, about being too correct about everything and radicalizing that a little bit. But seeing the old-timey Klingons is nice. And when they were fighting like this, I was like, those prosthetics are gonna fall. Like, in the fights, I was like, these like forehead things are gonna like fly out.
That would have been amazing if you'd seen M'Benga on the battle meth just like rip a forehead off.
Now, he did do a double ear clap now because they have 4 eardrums. What does that mean? Are they like, that's why the guy stands back up, right?
Well, don't they have 2 livers? Like, how did La'an drink him under the table?
I think there is definitely supposed to be some subtle, like, La'an may have more of her ancestry in her than she's aware of, right? Yeah. Like, because I mean, she went toe to toe with Una in the first season, and that shouldn't have been doable, I don't think. So there's definitely some suggestions going on there. And to your point, Veronica, about the disco Klingons, I feel like they almost gave their thesis on them like right up front when Burnham says it would be unwise to confuse race with culture when she's talking about the Klingons. And it's like, that's like the writers going, here's what we're going to do, right? And I really feel that added a lot of strength to it. And yeah, I mean, people know that I was kind of hoping they would put disco Klingons in here just to piss people off. But like, there's no part of me that doesn't love these Klingons. To your point, they're the Klingons, right? Like, TNG is home Trek. These are home Klingons. I love them. And Pelia, I can't get enough of.
The point, I think, to me is like, it's fine either way. I like every time the Federation has to become aware of the fact that they are colonizing the space. So I don't like saying this. This is not my favorite position to have because I'm also like, I'm Riker. But it is true that this is a show about like humans have gathered, like, they're colonizing, even though they're respectful about each planet's ways. You just, once the Federation, you're part of the Federation, United Federation of Planets, you do have to enter certain standards
that are defined by the Federation. That
are not your autochthonous, like indigenous, native planetary ways. So
you're gonna love episode 2.
Anytime like they bring up this subject, you know, I'm here for this. I just want to discuss that part.
What you express is very much the Strange New Worlds vibe, which, I mean, to Jesse's, they kind of state in episode 2, which is like, yeah, Starfleet's not perfect, but we try.
Right.
And it's that kind of like, yeah, we are going to look at these problematic elements from the past, but we're also going to keep that positivity and love that was in the past episodes 2 series.
Yeah, like that thesis is said out loud in season 1 in the goofiest episode that also then deals very seriously with that subject.
Okay, cool. So I don't know if this is worth it, but you fully convinced me to watch.
Oh, good.
Very cool.
You knew I was going to.
No, but that's like the essence of our show is to get people to watch Star Trek and then talk about it. So
you're converting, you're Christians, you're the Christians of Star Trek.
Look at us.
You have a podcast about Star Trek too, Veronica. Don't act like.
Ours is a mess, but I do get into these topics because I'm always like fascinated about it. Like we talk in universe and out of universe, right? Like I wonder what the mindset of the writers were at the time. Like why did they write Troy like this? Why not just the plot problem of like having a Betazoid figure the plot out, but like why are all of her important episodes this like attack on her person, this like alien rape trope, mental rape, you know, like, or emotional, whatever. And I'm just fascinated by the entire thing because like ultimately I believe in the Federation. I believe that what is happening is like it's so well built so that what John was saying can happen, so that the people who are human doing human things but are maybe necessarily not, they're selfish or destructive, can be found out and like not allowed to execute their like terrible plans. But ultimately, to me, the where I get juiced up watching Star Trek is when we go to new worlds and new civilizations, and we discovered interactions that are out of this world that we couldn't have figured out otherwise, because like, yeah, you gotta kill yourself when you turn 60, and that is our culture. Please do not try to stop me from doing this. If you love me, let me kill myself. Or, you know, all of those things.
Such a good episode.
I know, so good. Or like the inner light, where like Picard now has to carry a second whole other life that he lived inside of him. So he carries a whole culture inside of him. Those are the kind of like the Trek, the reason I'm here. And the boners, like whatever, but
the boners,
the Klingon boner,
the bulbous lap hearts.
I don't think that we could have stated it any better than that.
So yeah,
let's see if that transitions into the next call.
Yeah, our new caller this week. I'm hoping we get at least one new caller every week this season of Open Pike Night. So here is Newman.
Hi, Open Pike Night. This is Newman from the Movies for Days podcast. Longtime listener, first-time caller, hailing frequencies open. What a great way to start Season 2. In one little scene, Anson Mount continues to be the most inspiring captain ever. He could tell me that I was capable of punching out Rocky Balboa and climbing Mount Everest all in the same hour, and I would believe him. And then I would do it, because that's how inspiring he is. Loving to watch Spock continue to struggle with his human side, Vulcan side, making him singularly Spock, just like all of us, having to find out that single truth of who we are. I never thought I would love watching him toast blood wine with Klingons as much as I did. They're going to be singing songs about him, the Vulcan who is not like a Vulcan. Aha! And I thought I'd get through the whole episode without tearing up for once, and then they got me. With Spock standing over Nurse Chapel in sickbay, Mbenge, and saying, I don't have words for these feelings, and him simply nodding and saying, yes. Oh my God. I don't even have kids yet. I'm going to be a wreck when I become a dad. Okay.
Yes, you are.
I've got more things to say, but I'm running out of time, and you guys say all these great things so well. Keep rocking and rolling, and as Mortegas would say, vámonos.
Newman, welcome to the Open Pike Night Stage. Thank you for calling
with
in.
Open arms, Newman.
Yeah,
I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
I love Newman.
Right? And like, I don't have kids, but seeing all of my friends have kids, it's not that hard, Newman. You'll be fine. Yeah.
So, walk in the park.
Yeah.
Uncle perspective, just do it. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, same. Yeah, like I'm a great auntie.
Newman has some serious self-awareness, and that is deeply appreciated, man. Dude, I agree. Like I was tearing up on the transporter pad, and part of that might have been that like my eyes were physically hurt by the most violent beam in ever.
Seriously.
But like I
like that scene.
I loved it, but it was like very intentionally disorienting, of course.
Where were the worms?
So I was torn up there because Ethan's delivery of "you do not die" was like, is he saying like, I have seen some of the future and you don't die?
I know.
Or was it like, I cannot handle you dying right now? Like, it was definitely a combination of emotion.
It felt like a witch
and fact,
it
right?
felt like an incantation that where he was like focused, so intense, and he was like, I was like, is this like a Jedi superpower shit? Like, is this a Vulcan?
It was intense.
Extra power that we haven't checked out before. Like, you do not die. I loved it.
Well, and we know Vulcans can transfer their Katra if they need to. So
it was bewitching, that moment, honestly.
The moment before that, when he fires on the ship and thinks he killed her, like with the closed eyes, and I mean, that is such good. It's like he watched the scene from Memento Mori where Anson Mount does the kind of same thing, and he's like, I can do that
with just his expressions.
He's pretty good. I mean, that followed by the transporter, followed by the sickbay scene. Yeah. That was some of the best.
Followed
stuff
by
in
the drinking scene. Followed by the
yes.
The range from everyone like, in this episode
Ethan Peck.
Alone, and I mean,
Spock was enticing.
Yeah, the actors bring so much more to the script than would be there with another set of actors. And again, I think that just goes back to perfect casting, as Veronica mentioned. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Spock's arc in this episode is so good. When, like, from the beginning, I have these emotions. I don't think I can be captain because I open myself up to these emotions. And like every beat of the way, when the Klingon captain, who yes is fantastic, tells like Spock, like, "Oh, you're not like other Vulcans," and Spock goes, "I guess I'm not." Like, that's such a good moment when he realizes, oh shit, what makes me unique can be a strength.
don't
and
have
you can
to
look
be.
at it from the colonizer point of view, like what makes me human as a strength. But
Right.
I think with him, it's what makes him unique is a strength.
Yes. And I felt I had the same feeling with Spock opening up to feelings he doesn't know he has. I feel like those have been all my American boyfriends, where they're like,
I feel like we're almost to a title of a book here.
yeah, like they're like, somehow I made them go to that next level. And then also I had this boyfriend who used to be a Mormon, and when we were dating, he suddenly was like, okay, I love to try weed for the first time. And I was so honored that he chose me. And I feel like Spock, like from the moment he was like, oh, I don't know about this, to the moment he finished drinking, like he was hangover, I was like, this is Travis. This is what I did to Travis and weed. This is what happens when you open up.
You were the Klingon captain, and
I don't know what opened up Spock's feelings in the first place, because that seemed like
It was weed.
like a
He got
big
high.
season. Oh, okay. It was a Latina girlfriend that brought weed to his life.
Yeah,
Then
basically.
listen, they might have been. My house might be bugged, and like the writers.
Actually, it was Chapel, so it was a blonde white girl.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know. Just watching this one episode, I'm like, I must see what happens to Spock in this show. What is this storyline? Because nothing more enticing to me. To me, this is like an enormous, amazing metaphor for the masculine energy in the world entering into this era post 2020, where we are learning to connect with our emotions. So like, I feel, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a healer, I'm a spiritual person. I read the tarot and I do all kinds of it's a lot. I am a witch. And so, but I'm a good witch of the North. And so the thing that is happening right now that all the healers and the energy readers are talking about in this moment in humanity is the masculine is finally learning to get in touch with all of the emotions that we're never allowed to, which are so nuanced and so much more specific than you were taught maybe when you were children. So when Spock turns around and he says, I am feeling emotions I have no words for, no names for, I'm like, this is the masculine in the world right now. And the female is now getting in touch for the first time with rage, which is an emotion that was the no-no, right? As females, when you're little, they bring you into your groups and we talk about emotions and it's all we do. And like, we are so trained at identifying and scanning emotions because it's part of our survival. It's a part of the survival of our babies, but we socialize that to the point where it's like, it's been toxic, patriarchy, about it. And
we're aware.
And so I am just so interested in a group of writers getting together to write a storyline where it seems parallel to what I believe is happening in the world at large, where the divine masculine, regardless of whether you identify as masculine or feminine, is opening up to all these feelings that they don't have a name for, and like being like, this is who I am. I am a fucking mess. And seeing that journey, this is what I'm watching Star Trek for. This is what I'm watching Strange New Worlds for.
I'm just elated that you brought that up, because like one of the most commonly noted things about season 1 is the truly healthy, positive masculinity that Captain Pike displays as the head of the crew throughout. And I think it's great to see that is actually filtering, like down in the crew, so to speak, right? But like they're showing that actually has an effect on the rest of these people, because it's, a lot of people will complain, well, this isn't the Spock we know. He's too emotional. It's like, this is the Spock that's learning from somebody he trusts, right? Like this is where Spock came from. When we got Spock in TOS, this is what he had been through. And I'm just so happy to find somebody agreeing that I like the direction they're going with this, because this has been a very divisive episode, but like season 1 is very well liked. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Star Trek representing the current world, I do love when Spock's talking to the Klingon, and at first he's just trying logic. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would we have fired on them before you could censor us? And the Klingon's not taking it like your MAGA uncle at Thanksgiving dinner when you try to throw facts at him. And it's when you go, nope, look, I got to meet you on your ground and just drink a beer, and that's how I'm getting through to you, okay?
And it works.
But Klingons have more honor.
You got to drink a beer with your MAGA aunt and uncle.
And then you try to slip something in on the side when you're doing that.
That's the responsibility we spoke about earlier. Part of being a society is you have to bring those people forward, even if they do not want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like you find a way. Like,
and I also believe that when we were in the era with like in the ancient times before 2020, part of like what our like default behavior was to like shut down to these like rhetorics and speeches and like ways of thinking. Well, I'm always like, well, I think isolation is what brings about these kind of like radical behaviors. So how can we bring them into the fold, even if they're like kicking and screaming? How can we like bring them into the fold? And part of it is like shutting up and like and listening beyond what people are saying. Same with like Klingons, like, right? Because to me, that's Klingon. It's like a hard-headed fucking fucker. Like where you're just like, you just need me to punch you to understand you a little bit, you know? But I need to come to your level. But there's a little bit of what we need to do to advance everyone is to listen and to see behind what they're saying. Where kind of scan them and be like, where is the pain? What is missing here? Where is this coming from? And get to that past the horrendous like anti-LGBTQ / like whatever thing they may be saying.
Right.
And
the reasons for their emotions may be false, but their emotions are still real. So what is the true cause of them?
Yeah. Yes, and what is the opposite? So like if someone is feeling like they're losing everything, it's like a lack of control. So what kind of wound is that, and like what is the opposite of that? Where it's like, I hear you, I see you, I hear you, I see you, you are afraid. And then it just like dismantle that. So I feel like this is maybe why I'm also attracted to Star Trek, is because they play with that. Those dynamics, they are amazing at dramatizing them and making them like, yeah, let's fucking drink blood wine. Like,
I think John has actually phrased it my favorite way, which is the Star Trek future is a future for everybody. Like if you exclude people, then it's not the Star Trek future. If you like, well, they don't belong in that future. It's like, yeah, they do. That's the whole thing about the Star Trek future is they do need to belong. And yes, not everything can be sustained the way it is now, but if we're not bringing everybody along, then we're not heading toward that future.
Yes, facts.
The optimism is in being willing to fight that fight forever on a federational galactic scale, right? Like you have to have people willing to fight that fight in that organization for that to work at all.
Yes, and in our lives as well. If we can take like a cue from Star Trek. So I believe like the Trekkie fandom might be like the only group of people who's like, okay, we know how this works. Okay, I know how we can kind of make this work. If we were just less dorky and more like strong physically, maybe.
But we're not.
We had charisma as a fandom.
Would be really nice.
But hey, you know what? A podcast
to people.
or 2 or 3 is a great first step.
A podcast is
That's
great.
Right. That's right.
Yes, this is how I compare everything. So I merge in whenever, like, I have a podcast called The Cherry on Top, and I talk a little bit about like juju stuff, a little bit about like personal anecdotes. It's on my Patreon, but I always compare everything to Star Trek, whether my listeners are Star Trek people or not, because I'm like, well, imagine Star Trek. Money is not a thing, right? And food is replicated. So then now what are our concerns? You know, like to understand each other, to explore, to see what is this human relation? Like what are my, like just to witness each other, which is what I love about a Star Trek crew. A good Star Trek crew is like, everyone in the crew witnesses each other go through things, like the doctor with Spock, where Spock is like, where he's like, oh, it seems like you're experiencing something. If I didn't know better, I think I would say you're experiencing stress. And Spock is like, and Doctor is kind of like, yo, I'm here. Like, I'm just like quietly, without saying much, I'll witness you go through this. And that's comforting for me to watch.
It's like it's like that nuance that you mentioned, sort of being given room to exist, because that's the antidote to the toxic, right? Is the open and available, and like, yeah, just feel it, go through the feelings, which is interesting because actually when we asked Ethan Peck and Jess Bush what they learned from each other, Ethan Peck said, I learned that you need to be able to go through the necessary emotions to arrive where you need to be for the scene on the day. And it's like, wow, you just nailed that, and you weren't even there for that interview.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
What is can I ask you, now that you watched the show, what is your favorite character in this specific show so far?
Well, the podcast has a specific favorite, of course.
Still Ortegas.
Ortegas, hands down, yeah.
I mean...
Yes, we want more Tegas.
Yeah. That's, and she just, because she is emblematic of that positivity and confidence and, you know, well-placed cockiness and hyper competence. It's just like, she's the aspirational character. Like earlier when you said, you know, who do you think of yourself as? I wouldn't pick her, but she's definitely my goal. Like, I want to have that level of calm, cool, collected. I want to know when to snark off to my boss because it would save a life. You know, like I really do admire that character. And you know, after we talked to Melissa Navia, it's like so much of the character is just her. To your point about casting, so much of the character is just her. And that, I mean, that's really difficult for me to get past. But any of these people, I think, make amazing role models if you had to pick one.
That just moved me to the...
Well,
it moved me to hear that, because I might like get emotional, because one of my things as someone from Latin America who's in the Star Trek fandom is like, where am I? I didn't make it. I didn't make it to the future. No, there's no, I mean, look, I'm like actually emotional. If you're at home listening, I am tearing up, because this is like so important to me, because I watch all these shows and I consume all this like stuff, and I pay money to be part of the fandom because I want to buy the trinkets and the dolls and the things. Like, I am that person, and there's no me. There's no me anywhere. And so like Latinos and like people with my accent and that look like me didn't make it to the future. So the entire, like, through TNG and through our Treks in the City episode, I'm like, I just wanna know when we're gonna get an episode that explains what the fuck happened to Latin America, because clearly we blew up or something, because we didn't make it. Man. There's a couple of like ensigns here and there with a Lopez they throw around.
Oh, Gomez. They brought on Gomez. It was going to be great.
And she immediately screwed up.
I know.
And then we have Torres, and I did not want to be a half Klingon. Like, so I did not want that to be my representation. I honestly didn't. So like, no shade to that specific character, but I was just like, come on. So to me, this specific character is not anything. It's so important in my fandom. So,
and Veronica, this episode doesn't have a lot of Ortegas. You are going to love.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited for this.
She is so good. Yeah, she is so good.
Okay, I'm really excited. So I think both the character and the actor have gained definitely a new fan for sure.
Very cool. If there's anything Open Pike Night would like to do, it's add people to the Ortegas Navia fan list.
Yes.
Who do we got next, John?
All right, next up we have Matt returning to the Open Pike Night Stage.
This is Palladium 3, co-host of the Slime Time series of podcasts, and a member of your Discord from the very first moments of its live birth. Wow, that definitely was an interesting episode to start the season. This week brought us Emotional Spock, Captain Planet, and Nurse Nebula. I'll say there are some amazing character moments here with the crew going off on their own. The whole mission setup and the resolution was great. I'm okay with what they're doing with Spock. Great character stuff. And Of course, I love our new immortal engineer. But what the F was with the super soldier serum? Come on. I wanted to know more about the Klingon War, not just go see Joseph and Christine turn into Captain Planet and Nurse Nebula. That was in one word. Didn't add to the show at all. Dumb strobe lit filler sequence. And speaking of lighting, bold move there bringing Terry Metalis in as Gaffer on this one. And there was one minuscule thing that made me super happy, kind of weird though, but it was the mention of the 100 million deaths during the Klingon War. Star Trek usually doesn't give numbers or gives ridiculously low ones. Worlds blow up and they talk thousands of deaths, or race go extinct and they say 1 million people died. But, we got 7 billion people on Earth. Cosmic death tolls should be higher. And kind of sadly though, they did it. Final thoughts, they're not staying episodic plot-wise. They're doing the season-long Gorn thing. Ugh, small stakes. Just stick with the small stakes. All right, Season 1, Episode 1 was better setting up the emotional through line. I give the bonus to Season 1, but great setting this week. Strange New Worlds count, 1.
All right, Platy M3, thank you for calling in. And
love the specificity.
Yes, and I love that, like we have said before, folks who don't enjoy the episodes are as welcome to call in as folks who do, and it is good to hear. I really, really liked his point about the 100 million deaths, and I love that they said that number out loud, because it's like, yes, there are huge wars happening, and Star Trek is bad about ever fully acknowledging just the devastating cost, and it was nice to see they finally did that.
Well, and Mbenga drove it home talking about like the pink air, and he was like, it was like raining blood. I was like, if they put a Slayer track behind this fight, I'll be fine with it, honestly. Like, I may do that anyway, just for social media, but like,
I might, that might improve the scene for me.
And really quick, Platy, it's called battle meth, man. Come on, like, we're sticking with battle meth, okay? I think that's pretty good. I honestly thought it was going to be like liquefied time crystals, because it was so green, and it was like, oh yeah, this just alters their perception of time to make them seem really fast, right?
Honestly, to me, they seem like if you could take a popper and like make it times 100,000, but it's a popper. Like you sniff it and then you're like, ah! And then it's over.
Yeah. And sheer volume-wise, that was a lot of drugs, by volume that they injected into their body.
Actually, to that point, how much of that do you usually take, John? Because I've seen your vials; they are not that big.
No, they're not that big.
Wow,
Ooh, they hit that hard.
That was a big vial, and it was green, right? It was green.
It was like ecto-cooler green, yeah.
But for me,
Space
like
meth.
I said, I think it fits because or I thought it fit because it felt like they went, how do we get them out of here without them getting killed? But I mean, it definitely, I will say this is as close as I will get to saying I didn't like it. It definitely felt very Marvel, right? Like it was a Marvel show where they have a hallway fight scene, and they're establishing smaller stakes on kind of a big scale. So I could definitely see where it would take somebody out of the show. I will definitely concede that point.
It's speaking of like small details that maybe we liked or didn't. Why would these saboteurs need phasers? Why do they need Federation phasers? They just need the ship to show up and shoot some guys and then get blown up. That's all they needed.
Yeah. It was probably, my guess would be that the phaser technology on a ship is just a scaled up version of a hand phaser technology, and they were trying to reverse engineer it instead of saying, can we get a phaser turret? But it is also interesting. He said, like, when we come back, we need more, but they were launching the attack that night. So it was like, and part of that could be like, maybe that guy's not as high up as we thought he was. The other point, I do remember what I was going to say. I totally hear you with the serialization and the Gorn stakes and, that sort of a thing. But I will say, I mean, they barely showed us a Gorn blip on a radar. There wasn't like a, cut to a colony outside of Gorn space and we see something happen and we're left to wonder, oh, was that the Gorn? Or, because it's like, we know that they're going to use the Gorn. I'm fine with that. But I totally hear you on the serialization aspect. It does feel slightly less episodic than season 1.
I'm all out of Gorn.
Tell
us how you feel.
If you want more Gorn puns, we have them. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But we do have a little more talk about the Klingon War here, just to continue on this thread.
Hey, Open Pike Night. Well, it looks like Michael Burnham's little brother is getting into some mischief with the Klingons, just like his big sister did. You see what I did there? That was for you, Jesse. Though I do like the bookend of Michael Burnham accidentally starting a Klingon war and Spock preventing one. So nice Discovery reference there. But I hear the divisiveness of this episode, and I share some of the concerns. But ultimately, I had a great time watching. It was a classic Star Trek episode. The fight scenes were a little long for my liking, and I do share some of the criticism about Chapel just kind of serving M'Benga and Spock storylines, and this does happen a lot in media with female characters kind of propping up the male characters, but I don't think that's the case here. That's a pattern that's going to be continued. I think everyone will get their chance to shine, but particularly the PTSD storyline with M'Benga, Chapel, and even Spock, and the introduction of like music therapy. As a drummer, I totally get just even to calm your emotions, how music can help, even as a drummer. And I'm sure many people can relate. But I loved this story, and they're just checking in on everyone. It was very brave not to have Pike center stage in this episode, but I thought it gave everyone kind of a moment to shine. I love Carol Kane. And finally, for my Crusher connection, not to spoil it, Cameron, but there is a scene in season 3 of Star Trek Picard that references Beverly Crusher and a lot of blood wine. So I think she could drink everyone in this episode under the table, and I would love to see that. There's my Crusher connection. Can't wait for next week's episode. Live long and prosper.
All right. Michelle with Crusher Convo calling in with the heat.
Every time we learn something new about Michelle, she just gets cooler. I'm just going to say that. I didn't know you were a drummer, Michelle. That is very cool. As a metalhead, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. It's good.
Oh, really?
I also think like if you're going to pick up an instrument to let go of some kind of bullshit, it would be the one where you hit things, you
Hit
know?
things a lot,
Like,
yeah.
so yeah, rhythmically hit.
I will say this. M'Benga says maybe you should try something more human. I don't know why he handed him an instrument, because obviously he was saying, steal a starship, we'll do some drugs and fight. You can blow up a starship and then get drunk with Klingons. Like, that's the human therapy he was referencing, right?
That's I think so, yeah.
I thought he was like, take this instrument and go smash it against the wall.
You mean the Vulcan Wonder Wall?
You got there. Good job.
There's always a drunken guitar moment. You need it.
Exactly.
So once you've done all you've done, pull out the Volkalele and like...
Yep. That's the post-credit scene. All the drunk Klingons around him while he's playing. Yeah.
I will say, I guarantee you nobody does metal like the Klingons. I guarantee it.
They are the most metal, right?
Totally.
They're like, definitely. Because those hairs and the jackets and the whole... Listen, yeah. I'm here with you on this one.
Yeah. I will, like, I don't love this episode, but having Pike just leave to start the episode, it would not have been as good an episode as it was if they tried to keep Pike in somehow. And I do like just here are the keys. Don't have any parties.
Don't fuck up the ship.
Yep. Don't fuck up the ship. Don't get in
Don't
trouble.
scratch it.
I'll be
the
back.
showrunners have the exact same confidence in their show that Pike instilled in Spock.
Yes.
That's right.
I also feel like, as a newcomer, first time watching this, no, what do you call that? No anesthesia.
No
Just
baggage.
Straight up, straight to season 2, episode 1. I didn't eat Pike. And I don't know the dynamic of the show. I don't know what he brings to the table. I could tell he brings the gravitas and the weight of the center, of the captain, which is what should a captain do. But I just was having fun getting to know everyone. I just want to know, because those would be my buddies anyway. Those are the people I'll gravitate towards as a person watching the show, probably anyway. So just let that go away for a moment while I get to know the kids, and then we'll deal with that. Like, I'm okay with this being my very first approach to Strange New Worlds.
That's also a very apt description of it.
Yes.
It is, yes. He is Space Dad.
Space Dad can go look for our space mom, and then the kids, what do the kids get into?
It's like the story of my life. Space Dad has to get Space Mom out of jail, and I steal the car.
Space Dad needs to go get a case of space cigarettes.
Yep.
Are you sure your story needs to say space before any of those words? Because
it makes it sound much cooler.
yeah, it makes it sound like
Way less sad.
yeah. It's the only way I get through the day.
Space Mommy. So that being said, I'm eager to find out what number one is to me, and I'm eager to find out what kind of Captain Pike is in this show, because of course I met him in Discovery, right? So I'm like, I just want to get to know these characters at this point. I'm looking forward to it, but for that, I'll probably season one will probably be mostly about establishing Pike's relationship to this world, if I had to take a guess. So I have a lot of homework now.
No rush.
We're recording the S9 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah. I can't wait to get out of season one.
We have the other half of Crusher Convo, who makes a good point at the beginning of her call.
Hey guys, it's Jessie from Crusher Convo. I am so excited because this is my first time calling in while you cover a season of Strange New Worlds. Last year I hadn't seen it while you guys started, so I didn't join in until the season 1 retrospect, so I can't wait to share my thoughts with you this season. I just saw the premiere for the second time today, and all I could say is, O.M. Gates. What the heck? That was bloody crushtastic. I loved how I know we saw this in the trailer, but I just really loved how they wanted to hear Spock's go in kind of the same manner as we saw with Captain Seven in Star Trek Picard. So I did like that nice little parallel. I really, really love Pelia. Carol Kane, chef's kiss, end of story. There is just so much I want to talk about, but I really want to highlight the M'Benga and Chapel scenes. The fight scenes, bevmazing. I mean, come on. M'Benga kind of scared me a bit, but that's a good thing, right? So again, so much to talk about, but I will just end it right there. So thanks for listening, guys. Crusher out.
Talk about on brand with Jessie from Crusher Convo there calling in. I have a note about what I wanted to talk about after her call as far as a topic. I can't even say it because it would be too much information for season one, and it's too important for me to talk about it. But
all for me.
Yep.
All
I
for
do
me?
like the all for you, and I do very much appreciate what they're doing with M'Benga coming into this season. Like we've talked about already before, it's just good to meet these characters with so much more depth. I love it.
But producer John, I have got to learn what that Bookhouse Boys gesture with the eye is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I need to know what that
too
means.
cool.
Yeah.
M'Benga, the intensity with which he talks about the blood rain and then the chapel scene, I was like, this is why I Googled this character. This is why I only Googled this character and Carol Kane, because I was like, what happened? What happened here? And so one of the things I'm looking forward to finding out is everything about this character. And if this is the most in-depth we've gone, it's okay, but I'm hoping that I can find some gems in season 1 about this character, because might be one of my favorites.
Please call him.
This is so good. This is so good.
We can't talk about season 1. We can't talk about season 2. I love it.
You can. I'm not gonna be. If spoilers,
can't talk about DS9 because
spoilers won't get me that much down. I knew.
Well,
we'll leave these for you. Yeah.
It would be too much.
Okay,
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Our listeners know what we're talking about.
I trust you.
They know.
But just know, I'll be fine.
To Jesse's point, I love that the Go conversation, the Go command worked in the trailer, and then I loved getting the longer version in the episode. Like those are the kind of trailer moments I like where it kind of works in both versions. It doesn't ruin the setup.
And Spock having a very human moment of totally not nailing the punchline.
And going back to Pelia real quick, Jesse mentioned Pelia. I do love that her character is introduced with her giving the bullshit expression on her face, where she just hears the thing about the warp core and turns around and goes, "That's fucking bullshit."
and we don't even see her go to a panel. She's like, no, I know this is not really happening.
I've just
been doing this a long time.
Yeah, Spock is like, what are you implying? She's like, oh, I'm not implying anything.
Yeah.
I'm
telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
I also love how they're like, okay, we have this plan to steal the Enterprise. And then Mitchell walks in, types some stuff in, and it's like, plan is complete. Now we can steal the Enterprise.
I mean, that's kind of my problem, guys. It's like we've seen the steal the Enterprise scene, and I mean,
nothing else had to happen besides Jenna Mitchell walking into engineering.
Also, the Enterprise gets stolen so much. You think by the end of Star Trek VI, when Kirk like disobeys orders and flies to our second star to the right, like, you think by that point Starfleet would have just put a remote detonator
override
on the Enterprise. Like, we know how the captains do this.
I might be Spock because my dad could not leave the keys to his car anywhere near me in plain sight because that car was gone. Like every single time, ever since I was 14, I was just out there spocking it up with my Enterprise. Honestly,
I don't think it's possible to be Riker and Spock, although they both do rock a beard on and off.
Yeah.
So.
Who would be most likely to steal the Enterprise?
Well, this podcast is easy. Veronica is absolutely. People are going to be like, so do you guys all have to keep hosting Open Pike Night? Or
Right, yeah. We're going to have to cut so much of her stuff.
Yeah.
LOL. Just to keep your positions, just to keep your spots. Do what you got to do. This is it's a tough world out there. Watch your backs.
I mean,
tricks in the city.
Jenna Mitchell, who goes into engineering and types into control. We interviewed Rong Fu, the actress, and she said her personal inner version of Jenna Mitchell is that she is just over everybody's crap. And she's like, these people, I cannot believe all the drama we get into. So I could see her trying to steal or shut down the Enterprise and just be like, fine, here. Like, I'm convinced she actually was trying to sabotage the warp engine in that scene and just mess it up somehow. Like,
I love that we get more Jenna Mitchell in this episode, and I've been seeing a lot of people are loving that. So I hope we keep getting more Jenna Mitchell.
We know these showrunners will take note of a good performance and increase screen time based on that. So that's very cool.
Well, if they continue with the Star Trek trends, in TNG, they'll see like a good guest star and then like bring them on not even 2 episodes later. It's like, I remember this person's face. Like, I literally just saw them, but
you just put a ridge on their head. That's it.
Why not? Yeah, just make them. Now she's Ro. What can I say? She's Ro now.
Who do we got next, John?
We have Venus calling in.
Okay, it is 12:28 a.m.
Dedication.
Directly after the episode came out. Hi, boys. It's Venus, Butch Ortegas on Twitter, whatever. I hated this episode. I did. I wish that I didn't. I wish that it was something that I enjoyed more. As you guys all know, I don't like a war storyline. I don't like hardcore, ooh, and it's an action sequence. I like the politics. I like the positivity that we've seen in Strange New Worlds up until this point, and this episode doesn't feel like it fits into that. And it doesn't feel like a good starter for season 2 either. Honestly, I think we could have started with the trial episode and been fine, but this is clearly a follow-up to episode, I think, 9, which makes me think it could have just replaced episode 10 and everything would have been pretty similar. I don't know. I'm just disappointed by the episode. The timing or the pacing was weird. The emotions were all over the place, and they seemed to go back and forth with tone a lot. With ooh, Christine and Mbenga are about to die, and then Erica's making a comment about chipped paint. It just didn't sit right with me, and it didn't feel like Strange New Worlds so far. High hopes for episode 2, though. I'm excited for the trial.
I love that call because it starts with, I hated this episode. High hopes for episode 2. True fan there.
Well, also, I'm curious what Venus thinks now, because I had issues. I mean, the same issues I've put forth this episode, but on my second watch, I was like, okay, I know the parts I'm not going to like. I know that I don't really buy Spock stealing the Enterprise, but I know it's going to happen. So I'm just going to go with the ride. I'm going to view it through Jesse's eyes. And I did enjoy it more the second time. I did. I was able to focus on the things I loved. Loved the red rings around the planet.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff.
That planet was gorgeous.
Well, and I hear you on Ortegas, but I feel like what we know of Erica is that she's always cool. Like she's unflappable, right? And she like in season 1 she had that moment of like I'm not really sure about this whole gas giant idea. But in this instance, she's in her zone. This is what Ortegas does. She's a combat veteran. She hides from Klingons. She dupes Klingons, that kind of a thing. So I definitely hear you where it probably came across as a little callous, especially because we know Christine and Erica are friends.
Yeah.
But I really think it's there to show like she will do her job and be a soldier if she has to. Like,
but also, I mean, maybe she's just a glass is half full and Spock's a glass is half empty. Because I was wondering, like, why are they assuming they're on the ship? They don't know they're on the ship. They know they were on the ship at one point to set this distress signal.
Yeah.
So maybe Erica's just like, nah, they wouldn't stay on the ship.
She's super confident that they wouldn't do that.
My having worked a job where high pressure situations could suddenly arise, erupt, and literally explode, I think like the most concise way I could put it is Ortegas at some point in her career, probably during the war, realized you can crack under pressure or you can wisecrack under pressure. And she has chosen wisecrack under pressure, and it makes her the ace pilot that she is.
But it is likely a coping mechanism, to your point. It's a way to go, I got to get through the stress and do my job.
That's absolutely how I see it. I mean, I do it. It's my coping mechanism a lot of the time. So I can see how it would feel absolutely callous, because it's like, yeah, I mean, you do have to know that that's a possibility of what's going on, but you also you have a whole ship in your hands.
And I think I have said this elsewhere, but I will reiterate this here. Episode 2 is an all-timer, like for me. So I take
the one
from
that's
that
coming
as
up.
you, take from that what you will, Venus. Like I was blown away by the second episode.
Have you all watched it?
We've all watched the first 6 episodes.
Wow, I'm so eager. But I do agree. Like, I think I'm with Venus in terms of like, I do like diplomacy. I like the positive stuff. You know, I feel like you can tell like my person. I don't. Every time they start fighting, I'm like, like this is where my ADD. I know I don't like it, not because I don't want it. It's just I'll grab my phone. And it's like, why am I on my phone? And it's like, oh, right, because they're doing the stupid fight. So that is generally from my gut how I feel about it. But a little bit of action is like, you need a little bit of action in Star Trek, not just talking heads a lot of times. I don't need that much blood or punches and almost see a character die like every episode. It's too much for me. Yep. And then I become kind of numb at the fact that they may die every time. Like, I don't need that necessarily. I think the risks can be all sorts of risks I like, but the immediate physical risk of like a hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, well, in every moment with a character's life or death, you're not really getting to know the character. Yeah. You've got to see the downtime to know who these people are, to know what they're fighting for.
Yeah. Yes, and what they stand for.
I think this episode has had the highest like personal stakes for multiple characters of any episode. Like,
yes,
I mean, maybe outside of like the entire ship being in trouble a couple times in season 1, like this felt like really personal stakes for a lot of people, on top of being important franchise level
for
stakes.
the plot.
And
it felt very intense personally for as far as I could tell.
The stakes of this, were ultimately like a lot of Federation lives, but in season 1 we saw the stakes anywhere from Captain Pike's soul all the way up through diplomatic relations and obviously the ship, personal lives. But yeah, it runs a gamut, and that gamut does include politics and diplomacy, and it works so well. So it's fun to see it. Yeah. All right. Well, we have come to the final call of the evening, and we had a ton of great calls. We appreciate everyone who called. We're sorry we couldn't get to all of them. Kelly and Dee, don't worry. You'll hear us talk about it on the Patreon. And thank you to all of our patrons and our 25-minute set patrons, Steve, Pam, Morhana, Shatterhand, and Mark. Now let's get on with our final call.
Hey, John, Kim, and Jesse. I'm so excited to have my voice beamed down on Open Pike Night. It's going to be so amazing, so cool. I am so excited about season 2. I have been so nervous about Una because I'm like, how are you going to keep a good number 1 down? But Captain Pike said, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm on it. But in the meantime, he put Spock in charge. And Spike's command was, I would like the ship to go now. Yeah, I probably should have strapped in as soon as he said that. This episode was insane. I don't know why. I think I can predict the crew of the Enterprise. They always going to get the job done. They have so many different layers to them. This was so exciting to watch. And yeah, did Dr. M'Benga just punch somebody out? Okay, yeah, I'm not ready for this. Season 2 is about to be epic and crazy, and I cannot wait to join you guys. Thank you so much.
That was Ryan Bennett from the Black Girl Nerds podcast, who is our next guest for
Guest reveal.
episode 2, season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I forgot the name because it's in Latin, and I think I'll be allowed to say it at that point, right?
Per astra ad aspera.
Thank you.
Per astra ad astra. So this is a catchphrase of Strange Angel. So here's what CBS failed.
Oh.
Okay, let me tell you. Per astra ad astra, ad stera. But the reason we were able to reach all the way to Star Trek levels as a humanity started with the invention of rocket science. At some point, humans were like, we see things out there and we want to go check them out. And in real life, that process started in California. Jack Parsons at some point in the 30s was like, you know what? I just want to blow some shit up until we get to the moon somehow. And he was like a fearless, just, we're going to put a man on the moon. We're going to put a man out there. And then CBS comes up with a show called Strange Angel, which is all about Jack Parsons coming up with the rocket ships and like space science and all that and jet propulsion, basically. So the JPL labs here in California are Jack Parsons laboratories, but also jet propulsion. So, and it's all because of him. And this has to do with why America was so efficient at World War II. And you know, this all correlates to if we move 300, 400 years in the future, we have the Enterprise. We have, you know, but it is all linked to this. And so CBS or CBS Plus at the time, not Paramount Plus, has 2 shows. One is about the beginning of rocket science and how the man first started going to the moon. I am a series regular in that show. It got canceled eventually. And then they have Star Trek as a franchise. So in my head, I was like, easy, because I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm like, market them as this is what started everything.
Yeah.
It's
a prequel to Star Trek.
It is a prequel to Star Trek, and it is historical, actual, like an actual show. But here's where it gets dark. Jack Parsons was in a sex cult. And he became the leader of this sex cult. And this is no joke. This is the OTO. They're still active and they do sex magic. And Jack Parsons became like a high minister of this cult. And it's believed that thanks to his association with his sex magic stuff is that he achieved everything he achieved to the point where like we're now in space. So
is that part of the show?
This is very much part of the show.
I'm watching the show. This sounds amazing.
This is straight up. Like, we're all subscribed to Paramount Plus. Just watch it. I'll get a residual check. And I want to hear you telling me whether I am right or not. But the show is dark, and it's all about Jack Parsons dealing with his, like, inner animal and the sex cult thing. But it's historically accurate. The show was very well researched in terms of, like, space travel, and it's historically accurate. So I'm like, come on, Paramount Plus. You could have, like, made the two kind of bond together. And that, in my head, in universe, explains why Star Trek is generally horny. Because, like,
because of sex magic.
It's the only way it could have
I
happened.
love this.
Sounds irrefutable, I gotta say.
Look, you want to make progression as a human race, you gotta have some sex cults. It's just gonna happen.
Yo, am I wrong?
Yeah, I have not heard of that show until I was researching you. And if they had advertised it as even Star Trek adjacent a little bit, if they had put it up on the like check out this show on Paramount Plus, I would have checked out this show.
I know. I'm
sorry, I'm just stuck on the sex.
You should be. And you know what? We're inviting you to the temple. You can participate in a ritual if you want.
If they had just called the show Sex Magic, I think more people would have watched it.
That would kind of like make it difficult to know it's also about rockets, though.
Yeah.
That is the part that
That's
I think
fair.
they could have correlated it more. But just remember in the back of your mind that man got to the moon because the man who was like, let's fucking make it happen, was also out there shooting his rocket ship.
Was literally let's
rising to the top.
Make it happen. What's the Latin name of the episode, Jesse?
Ad astra per aspera.
That translates as a rough road leads to the stars.
Oh, very cool.
So lots of rough stuff in Strange Angel. Got it. All right.
I think we've reached the end.
I mean, that's got to be all we have, right?
So, Veronica, what plugs do you have? Share them with all of our listening audience, with the world, and let us know what you're up to.
Okay, so you can follow me in every platform at Veronica Osorio V. So that's Osorio, like a bear and a river in Spanish. Oso Rio.
Okay.
And then a V at the end. I'm also Cherry V on Spotify and iTunes. And so my YouTube channel, same. I just released a song called Dolce Vida. It's in Spanish. It's Latin rap.
Oh.
And then additionally, two more things. The plugs keep coming because I'm a multi-hyphen. We have patreon.com/Treks in the City if you want to support us there. And if you like my personal vibe, like more my spiritual, like rap stuff, you can go to my personal Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cherryland because I'm Cherry, so it's Cherryland. It's cute. It works. And if you're in LA, in the LA area, please come to my comedy show. I just got put on a UCB house theme as a character performer.
Ooh.
So I'm doing a character show at the first Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. Every single character it's funny. All of my teammates are hilarious, and I'm so lucky to be part of it. And yeah, watch Strange Angel. Get into sex magic. I'm not paid. I'm not part of this cult, but you guys, just saying, feel free. Feel free. That's all I'm going to say.
As a film fan, Veronica, I do have to ask one sentence. What was it like working with the Coen brothers on Hail Caesar?
Okay. This is a good question. It was absolutely fantastic. They are just, I don't think I can think of a better case scenario for directors in terms of like their personality to work with. And also I'll say the preparation, the pre-production that went into this film specifically was so heavy and meticulous that by the time we got to set, it was the preparation set us up for us to have just an amazing time and be relaxed and improvise. They allowed me to improvise. They would throw lines at me like, hey, do you want to say it like this now? And do you want to say this line now? So I was so happy because I come from an improv and comedy background, and to have that kind of freedom, I felt so honored because in film, you usually don't find that kind of freedom. You usually just go for what's in the script. There's no like, unless it's specifically a comedy movie, but they were they're the perfect Venn diagram between like comedy, which is kind of messy and a lot of people are just improvising. So they were not there. In film, that's so like specific and strict and like kind of more square. And they're right, that sweet spot in the middle where it's not messy, but it's not fully like just a square. And I just fantasize with working with some people like that again in my life. And honestly, I don't think I'll find people like them that are not them again, because it was extremely special in a way that I cannot, like, I've been in so many projects with so many types of creators, and I've never encountered something like this. So, great question.
That's
and
excellent.
yes, extremely special. I feel so lucky, and I had a great time. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for being here. This has been fantastic.
Thank you.
Jesse, I'm going to ask you now to rate this episode as compared to the first episode of season 1. Which one is a better episode? Just thumbs up, thumbs down, no numbers.
This one is a better episode.
Okay. Cam?
I'm going to go the other way. I think season 1 had the better premiere. Season 1 was the better episode.
I'm going to go with you. I think season 1 had a stronger first episode, but it's not like it's a huge distance between the two. So, but I think season 1 episode 1 is definitely will stand up as a better episode.
It's more consistent, but if someone said the highs of this one were higher than the other, I'd accept that argument.
You will know my answer.
Excellent. Thank you. I was just about to ask.
Yes. Where do I send these calls to? Like, where is this place that I should, for the new listeners who are coming in, and for me?
as has been evidenced this whole night, Veronica has set us up perfectly. Jesse, how can somebody get on the Open Pike Night Stage?
The easiest way to do that is to go to openpike.com/join us. You can record your voice message right there on your phone or computer. Of course, if you prefer a higher quality file, you can just record an MP3 and send it to openpike@gmail.com.
All right. And we always welcome new callers. We love our callers. We got a lot of calls. I think this is our highest number of calls for a regular season episode, and we love it. I said last year, I can't wait to get to the point where I have to start cutting some calls, and I promise you, as I selectively cut through the weeks, I will not keep cutting the same people again and again. Everybody's going to get their chance on the Open Pike Night Stage. Thank you, everybody, for joining us as we return to Season 2 of Strange New Worlds and Season 2 of Open Pike Night. We've had a great kickoff to Season 2, and we cannot wait to hear from all our callers, fans, and guests. Where else can folks find us, Jesse?
You can find us on basically any social media outlet you can think of at Open Pike. That includes Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and you can go to Discord and search for the Open Pike Night Backstage server. That's the easiest way to keep in touch with us throughout the week, and you can also sign up on Substack to our weekly newsletter, which will get you incoming guests, it will get you calls to action, and it goes straight to your email, so you don't even have to think about it.
And Cam, where can folks find more of you?
Yeah, if you want to watch my journey through The Next Generation and now Deep Space Nine, you can find us on Green Shirt, a newbie's trek through TNG, where I am watching Star Trek The Next Generation Season 6 now for the very first time. We've also gotten to the point where we're watching DS9, and we have our DS9 Minute, where we each bring 9 things to talk about the episode in the amount of time it takes you to drive to the store. So check out both of those on the Green Shirt feed, wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Jesse, where else can folks find you?
You can find my other podcast called Sudden But Inevitable, which is where I force my friends to like stuff I feel they probably should have seen by now. And it started all with Firefly. That's why it's called Sudden But Inevitable. There's a heavy space western couple of seasons there. We get into a little bit of anime, but trust me, it's a lot of fun.
And I can be found on Twitter at John T. Bolds. It's been a long night, and the Open Pike Night crew needs to go, well, just rewatch all of Season 1, along with Veronica, and everybody else should too. Let's get those stream numbers up. Let's keep Strange New Worlds going forever. Be sure to tip your servers. Be sure to clean up after yourselves. You can go anywhere you want, but you can't stay here.